Slepsky.
Well, hello again, everybody. It's your host, Joe Slepsky, and this is actually going to be a really quick one this week because I am in the middle of feeling crappy. So, I got a little bit of the goop. I don't have much of a voice, but it is Thanksgiving. It's also the week after G.I. Joe number 301 dropped. So, I didn't want to let this go by without saying first and foremost how thankful I am for each and every one of you listeners, everyone who reaches out via social media at Joe on Joe Pod or Gmail to joeonjoepod@gmail.com and says hello. I'm super grateful for that. I'm super thankful for all of our Patreons. You guys go to patreon.com/joeonjoepod and you contribute every month to help keep this show running. It really means a lot to me. I hope that shows in the product that I put out, and just it means the world. I love the interactions that I've had with the G.I. Joe community over these 8 years, which is crazy. And are going on 8 years. And it's really, really great. So also a huge thanks and shout out to our sponsors, the Movies in a Meal podcast. Ben and the guys are fantastic. If you love movies, and like me, and I do love movies, I really love movie podcasts. I genuinely do. So, and they're a great one to listen to. They cover a wide variety of stuff. They also do, they do a lot of the TV stuff, some of the long form TV shows. So it's a real easy listen. They're friends. It's great. It's a really comfortable show. I like a nice, comfortable show to listen to. So that's me in podcasting. I don't like people yelling at me on podcasts. Having said that, I'm going to yell about you. No, G.I. Joe 301 came out this week, and I got to say, broad strokes up top, not missing a beat. I freaking loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I'm not going to be able to do I'm not doing like a full page-on-page breakdown thing, but I'm going to give you some top notes. And then I'm going to flip through the book and give you some of my particular favorites. We'll start with the cover. I have the standard, it was an Andy Kubert cover. It's great. Now, obviously, it's an homage to G.I. Joe number 1 with the posing, but it's updated to reflect the current roster. I love that they use the Wolverine instead of the Mobat. Get CoverGirl in there, I think. And plus, I think the Wolverine is just such a cool, unique vehicle. I think it's wonderful. You got the Vamp in the back. The new Snake Eyes look, which I know I think that's the same style look he debuted when he came back last issue. I didn't reference it, but I like this new look Snake Eyes they got. It's kind of more commando-y. Everyone looks great. And then, pardon me. And then to get a Kubert on the cover of G.I. Joe, first of all, it harkens to Sergeant Savage, which is great when his dad did it. And then just in general, his dad did so many great Army and war books that getting a Kubert to do your main cover is just a really brilliant choice. It evokes a lot for a lot of people. Besides his style being great, it's really evocative of an era, of a genre of book. So smart. I loved it. There is a lot of variant covers out there. I've seen a lot of them. They really look great. I've only seen them online, so I haven't gotten any. I'm going to a show in December, very early. It's like LA Comic Con, like December 3rd or 1st or something. So I'm going to look for some G.I. Joe variants there. We'll see what I find. I know you can order a lot online, but there were really some gorgeous ones. So this is the time, everyone. If you want to get a really great looking G.I. Joe quote unquote number 1 cover, this is a great book to do it with. They did a wonderful job with this at Skybound. So we go into Larry Hama. The artist is Chris Mooneyham. I am not familiar with his work. I like it quite a bit. I think it's a wonderful style that fits great with G.I. Joe. It's rendered, detailed enough. Everyone looks gritty. Everyone looks real. It's got a very Kubert vibe to it. It's got a Goran Pavlov feel to it. If you're familiar with his work, he did some Punisher. He's done a lot of stuff, but he's done some Punisher stuff. Like he did the Barracuda miniseries and some stuff with Garth Ennis, and his stuff really feels like that. And I'm here for it. I think it's really, really solid. I like this, at least the way he approached it. This book, if it continues to do this, which I don't think it will, because he gets more into storytelling as it goes. But like the first few pages are really kind of like mini recap pages. You know what I mean? Like he does a really great job with recapping what happened in 300 in case you didn't read it, and wrapping it up and stuff. But they're like montages. That's the word I'm thinking of. They're like these montage images in the front that summarizes what the Joes are, what the Cobras are, where we're at, Why is there a plane crashing in the middle of this island, casino island? And the montages work really well. They look great. So I dig it. The other thing that I'll say is the pacing on this seems bigger. It seems better. It seems faster. And I think that's a combination of the art style. And that's not to knock any of the previous art styles at all. But I'm gonna throw this idea out there. I've said this a lot on the show. I've championed the concept on a lot on the show. I think the editorial direction makes a world of difference when it comes to comic books. I think there's the grit between a creator and an editor, a writer and an artist. The editor and the artist, the colorist and the penciler. I think that grit is where a lot of the magic happens. And it's not to take away any kudos at all from anyone involved, like, from Larry or from Chris Mooneyham. Like, it's to say that when you get just get different eyes on the subject matter, they can suggest just a little bit of a different direction and they can grit it up. And I think that's what we got here. Everything moves really fast. It's really interesting to find, to see. I love the inclusion of the jet ski off the whale. That was fabulous. Everything's just a little more exciting in this, and maybe it's because we haven't visited this in 6 months. Like, maybe that's it, because it's just been sitting in my head waiting. But I dig it. Like, I really dug it, and I really got that feel of just a different, faster editorial influence. And so the other big thing, of course, is, well, two big things. Is one, this Serpentor plan is wild. The guy turning everyone into zombies, apparently including Serpentor. I'm not here to guess things, but I'm guessing maybe this leads to some kind of Cobra Law thing. Maybe they're doing their version of a Cobra Law arc, because they've never really done that, right? If memory serves. So if everyone turns into snake kind of people, maybe that's what we're looking at here. And then we lose Wade Collins after all this time. That was a shock. I love that they did it. They did someone that new readers absolutely would not know who that is, and they'd have to be forced to look him up on the internet and things like that. I think that's great. I think that's a nice reward for old readers, and it's a good carrot for new readers to pick up the old stuff. I'm assuming someone at some point, whether it's Skybound or, I know Marvel's been putting a lot of the old stuff in print, like ROM and Micronauts, some of their like third-party stuff. Marvel's doing the reprint, so I don't know that they've announced anything with the G.I. Joe yet, but whether it's Skybound or G.I. Joe, this is a great way to get new readers to go, well, let me find out more. Why is everyone so sad about this Wade Collins guy? Who's he? So that's great. So I genuinely loved it. I thought it was wonderful. I think Larry did a great job. I love the profiles in the back. That works. Yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised. I was very surprised. If you guys, I don't know how much I covered on this show, but I was on our guest, I was a guest on our friend's show, What's on Joe Mind, and 300 left me cold, because it didn't feel like the way you go out with after however long IDW had it, 13 years, 15 years. It didn't feel like a great send-off issue for just an entire publisher. There was a lot about it that left me cold. This makes me really warm. This makes me really excited for what they're going to be doing. So that's it. That's all I got in me today, guys. Thank you all so much. I hope you enjoyed this book as much as I did. I also picked up that Transformers book too. I picked that up while I was at the shop. The new one from Skybound. It's going to be set in somewhat of this. I don't know if it's going to be set in the Real American Hero universe yet, to be fair, or if they're doing a split universe thing. But that Transformers book is pretty fun. It's also kind of watching Transformers be wrestlers, which is pretty crazy. Anyway, that was a lot of fun. I hope you're all great. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Be good to your family. Be kind to your family. And if they bother you, just walk away. So now you Joe, and Joeing is half the battle.